Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. And man, were we right. All the stuff that we've been, surfacing in the community when it comes to this whole hashtag ETHGate stuff, its connections to the CCP, all the actors, from the interactions with Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, to hashtag ETHGate, Joe Lubin consensus, the corrupt individuals in our government that's supposed to be representing the people. All this stuff has come to a reality. Obviously, we've been validated from what we've been expressing and yelling from the rooftops and been ignored and scrutinized by other members in the community. Well, the tables have turned. In this video, I really want to cover a lot of these, major points and pivotal aspects of this timeline and just the whole scandal itself and how it's starting to come full circle. And we're going to start with this one from Riz XRP and DAI. So Riz XRP had put this up saying the Ripple case was a weapon upon the XRP community. That was on August 11th. DAI says, I think our entire government has been trying to create a reality. Lubin is just one of the actors. So listen into this, Kate, because this is going to literally launch us into this amazing video. I mean, I'm excited about it. Let's listen into it.
I've never, in all my years as a clinical psychologist, and this is something that really does terrify me, I have never seen anyone ever get away with anything at all, even once. Well, maybe you disagree. Maybe you think people get away with things all the time. I tell you, I've never seen it. What I see instead is that thing happens, right? Someone twists the fabric of reality. And they do it successfully because it doesn't snap back at them that moment. And then like 2 years later, something unravels. And they get walloped and they think, oh my God, that's so unfair. And then we track it. It's like, well, what happened before that? This. Well, and then what? This. And then what? This. And then what? Oh, this. Oh, that's where it went wrong. Because you can't twist the fabric of reality without having it snap back. It doesn't work that way, and why would it? Because what are you going to do? Twist the fabric of reality? I don't.
Hey, so really, really let that warm up your brain here, okay? Because we're really going to go in. And it literally, that was Dr. Peterson there expressing what Lubin himself has said. How he, you can pretty much create this reality using these words. And remember, he kept saying, decentralization and all these other words that I can't think off the top of my head. But in a sense, they were creating this narrative to kind of paint this reality of what isn't real. It was a facade, but it worked when it came to the whole hashtag ETHGate, the Ethereum free pass, and the, I guess you could say, cohesion and shady backdoor deals that they had with inside people, government officials and whatnot. So it's going to tie into all this stuff, right? So he said they never got away with anything ever. They create this thing happens, and you create this reality. Joe Lubin, we're going to say that's one of the actors, and then 2 years later, right, it comes back and snaps back at you, right? And then you start tracking it. Okay, what happened here? Oh, this happened, and then this happened, and then this, and that's what we've uncovered in this community. And don't let anyone get it twisted, okay? It is the XRP community who started this whole thing. Surface the truth in what's real, the real reality, right? The truth. When you have the truth on your side, you really can't go wrong. I mean, it's been evident, right? So we're going to continue on in here. Mr. Huber had put this up right here. So this is this is Vitalik Buterin right here. Okay, so Mr. Huber says, "Hey, Vitalik Buterin, when did you apologize for bringing crypto into its biggest existential crisis it's ever have been with creating pseudo clarity for years by bribing the SEC officials only to pump your bags and create a monopoly for Ethereum? You're complaining about others having an advantage. Ridiculous gaslighting." So listen into this really quick.
XRP, right? They're still completely centralized, and but at the same time they are on coin market cap, and still I think haven't apologized for writing documents into the to the US government, basically saying that they should be favored over Bitcoin and Ethereum because Bitcoin and Ethereum are China. XRP, right? They're still completely centralized. And
so the cool part is you have this hate and this narrative and this agenda, right? We're talking about the XRP Ripple lawsuit being utilized as a weapon, right? That's one weapon, which was a massive weapon, but the whole agenda of this this negative narrative and this negative light that they try to, in a sense, gaslight, the everyday investors and other players, right? They're trying to create this narrative because they seen and they saw what Ripple and XRP was set out to do. They saw what was going to happen, right? And obviously, we've uncovered a lot more in this community. We've been speculating on, Vitalik Buterin sleeping on individuals' couches that's close to, Ripple and the development. We're talking about XRPL growth, and them obviously, they say they threw out this demo. They were just kind of throwing, Ethereum out there to kind of test it out, if you will, right? And they kind of still had to build on it. We're going to touch on more of that, right? All of this stuff. It's almost like they were just trying to front run, right? They had to front run, they had to cheat, and they had to bribe to even compete. Really let that sit in, right? It's crazy because when I talk to my friends or I talk to anybody when I'm talking about crypto and I tell them, oh yeah, my primary is XRP. I got, about 85% of my portfolio allocated toward XRP, whatever the case is, right? Just a rough estimate. And some people kind of throw shade at me a little bit for it. And it's like I try to explain just the layman simple terms of it. Just like, look at this, and look at this, and see how could you not want at least a good portion or a good bag of XRP, right? Not even talking about what Ripple's doing, but we're talking about just the XRP and XRP ledger, right? So continuing on. DAI had put this up, and this is crazy. He goes, whistleblower alert. Illegal security transaction alert per the SEC versus Ripple ruling. This is now the law. You asked for it, and now you got it, Gary Gensler, Hester Pierce. Win 3-year-long Ethereum lawsuit. So he's responding to Riz XRP, where Riz says, let's talk truth. The truth is liberating. Why they won't talk about Ethereum because it doesn't benefit them. Hashtag ETHgate. Listen to this. This is crazy.
You sold 500,000 Ethereum to Mike Novogratz,
right,
for like 99 cents or something like that. Tell me the story of the transaction, which, would now worth almost $2 billion.
I mean, I think Mike, or I think we in the foundation at the time, right? We had almost no fiat left and almost no Bitcoin left. All we had was the 3 million ETH, right?
Okay.
And so. The foundation at the time had almost nothing, and we needed to survive. We needed to continue developing Ethereum, and the markets were not mature yet, right? So we were very frantically just looking for individuals who wanted to buy ETH so that we could continue funding the team. And I think I forget exactly how we reached out to Mike Novogratz. We might have reached out to him, or maybe Joe reached out to him, or maybe he reached out to us. But then, he wanted to buy some Ether, and we were happy to sell some Ether because, on the one hand, it was a very good deal for Mike Novogratz, and it was a very good deal for the other people that bought Ether, just institutional at the time. But at the same time, those transactions helped the Ethereum Foundation survive, right? If they did not happen, then the Ethereum Foundation would have had to just fire all of its people because it didn't have any money left. So it was a huge win for them, and it was a huge win for Ethereum as well.
So by the end of the day, it was a good deal.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it true that you've discussed the price, and after that you changed the price to 99 cents because the market was better for Ethereum? Because right now, Mike's when he's referring to that transaction was I was discussing with Vitalik about an amount, and after that, because he was lagging the decision, he's saying Vitalik was okay, now because you were late to the party, the price has changed.
It was because the price on the secondary markets had gone up, right?
Gotcha.
We were just benchmarking against.
Okay, so the major things that I want to unpack under there because it ties into the narrative here. So think about everything we've uncovered in the community, right? We talked about Mr. Dimes to Donuts, Mike Novogratz, right? Him and his Terra Luna tattoo, him and his narratives of, I just don't understand the XRP token, and I bet Dimes to Donuts, he knew inside information as to what was going to happen, SEC versus Ripple. I bet Dimes to Donuts, this is what the SEC is going to come out and say, right? It makes him even more shady, in my opinion, based off just this clip here. So Vitalik Buterin literally blatantly say, we would not have survived if it wasn't for us selling a large portion of the 3 million Ethereum that they had. He said that's all they had. So they reached out to Novogratz, sold him 500,000 ETH, which they needed to grow and fund the project, to grow and scale the project, and then to obviously pay their employees, right? Okay. Mr. Dimes and Donuts looks more shady because why was he going out with this negative campaign, this negative narrative, this false facade, saying he didn't understand, what XRP was about, or what Ripple was about, right? He just didn't get it. He understood the Ripple, but he just didn't quite understand XRP, right? Because he had a vested interest in Ethereum. Just like when William Hemming went up and gave the Ethereum Free Pass speech, right? He had a vested interest in the whole, Canaan thing. Obviously they were mining Bitcoin and Ethereum in his own, personal agenda. Just more shady actors, right? This is what the XRP community, the Ripple community, all of us in one, right? The XRP army has been dealing with. This is the scrutiny and the narrative that's been formed, to benefit themselves. It's crazy. And we're going to tie into more stuff, right? We're going to continue on right here. Wheezy X has said, yikes. Retired Buterin says, basically every layer 2 and roll up on ETH has some kind of backdoor. Okay, so this is crazy, right? I mean, these cats just keep talking. Why do you think we have all this stuff? It's because they can't close their mouths, which is crazy. Listen to this.
And the other thing that, I've talked to the roll-up teams that they all want to do next year is they want to start taking off training wheels, right? So the roll-ups and layer 2s that exist on Ethereum today, they basically all have what I call training wheels, like some kind of backdoor that lets developers come in and say stop and change the protocol if they see that some kind of bug has happened. And
okay, so that's just strange. There's obviously some centralized entity there controlling that. So that's not good. That's not what, this space hoops and hollers about, right? We talk about decentralization and all that stuff. That's definitely not it. And that's just strange. And the fact that they're even speaking about this, acting as if it was going to see the light of day is nuts, right? As you can see, this narrative and why they tried to spin and herd the sheep a certain direction, right? While they're doing something else. This is that whole head fakery juke move stuff that we talk about on this channel. They tell you one thing, they're doing something else, right? It's all to fit their own narrative. And that whole monopoly, them trying to create a monopoly, that's a real thing. Just based off of these 3 clips, you can see why they would do it. There's so much money that was put into this. Powerful people that have a lot of capital, they're not going to want their investment to go down the wayside. Not even just that, though. Their reputations, their careers, they're just them getting exposed, potentially facing some sort of criminal charges or jail time. This is me just speculating. It goes deeper than that. And it really makes me wonder if justice really will be served and if there really will be an investigation. Yeah. We have Jason Foster and Empower Oversight, getting the Freedom of Information Act request stuff dialed in. They're suing the SEC, going after them. You obviously have Coinbase and Binance, fighting back in their court cases. Now you have the likes of Blockchain Association. Blockchain Association and Senator Loomis filing amicus briefs. The only reason why this has started is because the XRP community. But you can see why. When we say XRP army, it's not like, oh, you guys are just some wild speculators that are just infatuated with this digital asset. It's like, no, look at what we stood for. We didn't stand for just us in XRP and Ripple. We stood for our rights in this space. The right for people to be able to invest their hard-earned capital in a fair and just way, leveling the playing field. The growth and prosperity within the space and the health of the space. It was bigger than that. So the fact that you had literally almost, I would say, 9 out of 99% or 98% of the community looking at you a certain way, and this is just me throwing a number out there, you can see why we feel the way we feel and why we feel so strongly about it. We'll continue on, though. Mr. Huber had put this up. He says, why is there still no regulatory clarity in the U.S.? It's simple. Because the Ethereum investors who bribed the SEC, people thought there was clarity because they bribed SEC officials. Let them believe there is. Remember, when the SEC filed this lawsuit against Ripple, everyone said the rules are clear. Now everyone says Ripple was right. Why? Because Ripple was able to make it completely obvious that the clarity Ethereum got was only because of the bribes to the SEC. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. We'll move on. Speaking of, You even got the likes of Alex Cobbs coming in here talking about, he goes, man, it has been a really long time since Ripple has publicly specified how many partners they have exactly. I believe the last thing they said was 300. He was saying this was back in 2018. I couldn't imagine what it is now. So under all that scrutiny, all that negativity, lawsuits, being shamed and being called a crap coin, what was Garland House, Chris Larson, Ripple, the company, the XRPL, XRP Army, what were we doing? Hodling strong, continuing to accumulate, continuing to try to surface the truth. Brad Garland House is in meetings with the powers around the world. You know, they said they were eight times plus scaling their business, even under the SEC lawsuit. If that doesn't tell you the writing on the wall, I don't know what else will. But the whole premise behind this video is just how blatantly obvious we were right, we were validated, we're on the right side of history and the right side of law, and the whole Ethereum hashtag ETHgate, their connections to China and just all the shady stuff, we are right over the target, as the AI would say. I mean, it's crazy. Moon Level had put this up. Just kind of switching over, I'm getting a little animated about this. He says, when is Grayscale going to relaunch their XRP trust now that there is legal clarity? So here we go, right? As things are starting to shift, what is going to happen? The only digital asset with regulatory clarity, true and legal and lawful regulatory clarity from a judge, right? What's going to happen? You got all these spot Bitcoin ETF applications, pending, and obviously with BlackRock submitting theirs and submitting as Coinbase as their surveillance partner and custody partner, and all the other applications following suit, we know that it's going to pass. So there goes a crap ton of capital just right there alone. What happens when that capital flows into Bitcoin? What do you think it's going to do? It's going to trickle down into the rest of the digital assets, just like it's always has. Now, you got XRP being the only digital asset with true and lawful regulatory clarity, right? Cross-border remittances, cross-border settlements. You got the XRPL growth, developers developing on there, and all this other stuff. They're trying to get in other verticals, whether it's, just naturally and organically, or if it's through acquisition. So what do you think that's going to do when XRP is the gas, if you will, or the oil that lubricates the machine? I mean, you've seen and heard these astronomical numbers, right? And I'm not even talking about the crazy numbers, but I'm just talking about the insane and profound amount of growth and scale that's going to happen. Oh my goodness. It's crazy. And remember, I just touched on, Blockchain Association filing the amicus briefs, and then you have Senator Loomis files amicus brief supporting Coinbase dismissal motion, right? And then she states, where's it at? Right here, it says SEC brings enforcement actions in the midst of debates in the halls of Congress and around the world about how crypto assets should be regulated. The Constitution empowers Congress, not the SEC, to legislate in such an area of profound economic and political significance. So let me tell you, the reason why I'm bringing this up, where were they? Where were they when we were shouting from the rooftops, hey, come help, join the fight? They're coming after everybody. JD said it on the drop of the lawsuit back in December 2020. It's bigger than Ripple and XRP. They're coming after everybody. And what happened? We got no love. Literally no love. I think the first love we got was from Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett. Like, truly, that I can remember. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but like when it came to somebody outside the XRP community, that's what it was. But like now after everything's have surfaced, right? Now all of a sudden everyone's kind of jumping in. My thing is always like, okay, what is it? Why does it feel like we're trying to rush bills now? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are all these other players, like you got the Mr. Dimes to Donuts, Mike Novogratz coming out talking about how profound and how the Ripple victories creating shockwaves in the SEC and trying to spin the narrative. I mean, why? Just like I told you, right? They tell you one thing, do another thing. They're trying to juke you out, trying to herd you a certain way. But no. You got to use your brain in this community, and that's what we do, right? It's bigger than that. They seen the writing on the wall. They tried to shut it down. They tried to hinder it. They tried to stifle it, right? They tried to call their government buddies. They tried to create a monopoly. They tried to hide the truth and sweep it under the rug, but they were exposed. And all it did was just only further strengthen our community, Ripple the company, and the digital asset XRP. It's showtime. It's showtime, and I'm so excited for it. My crazy self is going to end it on these last two. Obviously, the SEC delays decision of Bitcoin SPY ETF of Kathy Wood's ARK Invest. Obviously, we kind of, I think the market had priced that in. We kind of knew that was kind of coming. And it's just a matter of when they actually do it. It's over. The if is over. We know that there's going to be a spot Bitcoin ETF, whether it's in January or March of 2024. One of those. So just a waiting game. And I wanted to touch on this. BC Backer had put this up. He says, what's next? 40,000 BTC or 12,000. So this was just under 6,000 votes when I voted. And it says 70.8% say 40,000. So it's almost showtime, man. Oh, man, that was a long one. I really wanted to touch on it. And there was a lot more video clips that I wanted to show. But literally, we can talk all day. And when I say I am so excited for someone to create a document on this, like a real documentary on this, I mean, really spreading the truth, interviewing the right people. Obviously, you know, the likes of DAI, John Deaton, and other community members that really show people's history, not the master narrative, actual true people's history. It will be the most profound document, in my opinion, ever. I mean, obviously, we see how significant this space has been in our world today. So imagine how that, you know, what light would be shed on this space with that documentary coming out. History has been made, man, and it's going to continue to be made. And I'm just glad we're on the right side of that. That's all I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto's Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.